Recently on the Wayspotters podcast, you heard my dad say...
From here on out, if you hear meowing in the background, it's my cat, who is very temperamental. Yes, you are. And I just fed him. I literally just fed him before we started recording, and he started meowing, and I put him outside, and one of the kids, somebody must have let him inside, and now he's rubbing on my leg, and you're not getting any more food. You're a big cat. Go lay down. Lay down. Trainers, agents, keepers, pilots, eighth wallers, scouts, and our beloved explorers and wayfinders. Welcome to episode 191 of the Wayspotters podcast. Here at Wayspotters, we want to do everything we can to help you become a better wayfinder. As we've always said, we want to educate, entertain, and excite. Wayspotters is brought to you by the good people at the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Friday, September the 12th, 2025. I am Blame Jamal, and I am here always with Chris. What's up, my guy?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Doing good, man. As a few of you guys know, my wife had surgery on Thursday, and it went very well. So for those of you who reached out and had good things to say, I appreciate it. As of recording time right now, she is at home resting and is looking to be a 100% recovery. So very successful surgery, 100% recovery. So all is well. So thanks for asking, man.
Excellent. We, my whole family and the whole group, when everybody was sending positive vibes to you and your wife, and we're all happy that she's recovering.
Yes, I appreciate it. It was stressful. I slept in a very uncomfortable ass chair in the hospital. But you know, that's what you sign up for when you get married, is to sleep in really uncomfortable hospital chairs. You know, thinking back to when the kids were born, I slept at the hospital the night the kids were born, but it was like a suite, and there was like a chase lounge, and it was like super comfortable, and I had like a fluffy pillow. But this was like a chair that kind of reclined back, and the feet kind of went up, and that was it.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Gotta do what you gotta
Sometimes
do.
what you got to do is very uncomfortable.
Right. But you know what, Chris? It looks like our glorious return to the world of video was triumphant.
Yes.
So, guys, if you're a Spotify user, you can watch the video version of this very podcast on Sundays when it drops. And it'll be available later in the week on YouTube. So, Chris, these graphics are pretty cool. I'm still playing around with the zooms and the fades and the close-ups. But other than that, it's really cool, the things that we can do with the video, so people can see our beautiful faces. And now I have to be kind of aware and make sure I'm looking at the camera, because often I'm like just staring over at this other screen, looking at what's coming up next, and because we haven't been on video in a while, so now I have to make sure I'm looking at the camera. Hey everybody, jazz fingers. Yeah, I know, right? Spoop it up. And dude, what's your coat? What's that? Is that from Jackson's?
This is my Oshawa Blue Knights jacket. He had his first off-season training session today. So we're back at it. His City League field starts on Sunday. So yeah, we're after our 1 month of no lacrosse, we are back into it this week. So yeah, this is the jacket that we had.
It was probably a good break for him, huh?
It was, yeah. He was slick. He hasn't had his equipment on in a while, so like a month.
Okay.
So he put it on today, and he was a little bit rusty. He was so sweaty after today. It was like an hour and a half session. By the end of it, I could tell he was kind of dragging because he hadn't done it in a while. So he had fun. He had a good time. Yeah.
Back to the grind.
Back into it. Back to the grind.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, with that, let's jump right into the news.
And now, the latest Niantic spatial and Scopely news from the Wayspotters podcast, presented by the Pokemon Professor Network.
All right, there was a sync issue late last week, early this week, and then a sync happened on the 7th, and then it broke again, and I think they fixed it on the 9th, and it seems to be okay now. It's syncing normally, so if you had stuff not show up in the game for a couple of days, I know we were talking with Kate, and she's freaking out because she thought that she was getting banned, and I was like, no, it's not you. And then something synced, and she's like, oh, and then it didn't break, and then it was, yeah, there's the whole thing. So it seems okay now. Fingers crossed. By the time of the recording, it didn't break again. Pay attention to our Twitter to get updates on that if it breaks again. Speaking of broken, Emily is not approving anything as of the 29th. The Wayfarer team is aware. They are working on a fix right now. Someone suggested that maybe Emily was back to approving stuff, but I don't think that's I haven't seen any evidence of that at all. So hopefully she comes back soon, because I've been doing a bunch of reviews in the last few days and it's not been fun. It is like trudging through
the stuff you've been posting,
deep human excrement. It's terrible.
The stuff that you've been posting, I'm like, ooh, God, I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah.
It feels like
Tuesday or Wednesday, I got like 20 reviews in, and I legitimately had to stop. It was so frustrating. It was so bad. And then one of them, like, that's my high school. Someone has literally nominated my high school. And then the next day, I got another high school in my hometown. I'm like, someone's just driving around my hometown nominating the high school. So they'll probably get approved, knowing my area too. And then I'll have to go and report it. And then I went and reported something the other day because it was on the grounds of an elementary school, a plaque, and they removed it because cool, that's the right thing to do. It's on a K-12. I just got it in my reviews today. I'm like, you're kidding me? Like, it got removed yesterday. It's already in my reviews today. Like, it's gonna get approved. I'm gonna have to walk over there, and it's just come back, Emily. We miss you.
Come on, guys. Come on
now. The official Ingress account on Blue Sky posted in reply to another post about not being able to track Ingress submissions with, we're still working to build Operation Portal Recon, so there isn't currently a place to track nominations submitted through Ingress. OPR should launch later this year. So I had previously speculated that it would be 2026 before we saw that, but the OPR team seems to think it's going to come out this year. So
we're kind of running out of this year for later this year. I mean, usually when someone says later this year, they're talking about October, November, December, like, right? I mean, we're kind of running out of this year.
Yes, so it is definitely later this year already. So
yeah, we're in that later this year part. So we'll see. I mean, I'll welcome it. I have some things that are already in process over there. Although, Chris, can I tell you this? I have been so lazy in nominating things twice. I remember I sat here on this very podcast 10, 15 episodes ago and told everybody and their mom that I was going to nominate in both. And I did it for like a week, and I was like, this sucks. This absolutely sucks having to do it twice. So I just stopped nominating in Ingress.
I did this. I've done a couple. I did a couple just because I wanted to see how bad it was. It's not ideal. It does kind of suck. I stopped because I have no contributions page. I can't see what I'm putting in, and I don't want to nominate a bunch of stuff with less than ideal descriptions, OPR to launch, and log in to see everything's in voting, right? So like, I want to see how that looks and how that's going to play out, and whether or not they're going to give us some sort of grace period to go in and fix the things that we've submitted. So I got a bunch of stuff, and I have all the pictures in a separate folder on my phone called Stuff to Do in Ingress when OPR launches, that I'm just going to go back and do. And it's so frustrating to me sometimes that I'll go, and I've had stuff nominated and approved locally, then I'm like, oh, that should show up in Ingress. It won't show up in Ingress because they're not linked anymore. And like, sometimes I forget. Like today I had another stop approved. I had a stop approved at work a couple weeks ago that I can get from the lunchroom, and I logged into Ingress today to hack the portal, and I'm like, I can't because it's not in Ingress because I got it approved after the split. So now I have to go and nominate it in Ingress. It's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm 100% gonna do it
nowadays. No, you got to do it. I have to. I'm gonna have to remind myself to do it because I so very rarely, if ever, I don't fill in the description on site.
Yeah,
I do the hashtag hold.
Yep.
which doesn't really work anymore. I need to like tell Sarah Amanda if she's listening that doesn't work anymore. Remember, you'd put hashtag hold in the supplemental, and it would automatically put it in hold. But that doesn't work anymore.
Really?
But things don't go into voting. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. I tried it. It doesn't work unless I'm doing it wrong. I put hashtag hold in it, and it was just in queue. But I just don't on site. I don't put in the description anymore. I just, put in hold, and, if I get burned, I get burned. It's fine. I got 40 nominations, but I did a nomination today. They finally finished one of the trailheads on the Long Creek Greenway. There's no sign, but it's a clear, obvious trailhead. So I nominated it, and I didn't put anything in. Then when I got home, I went in and I looked it up on the website to see what number, because they're all numbered. The Greenway has each number, and I put the number in there and put the link of the website in there. So I did all that. But if I'm not putting in the nomination information for Pogo, that means I would have to come up with it on the spot for Ingress right now. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll do it later. So I haven't put anything into OPR because it's just kind of a pain in the neck to try to manage it. And it's just kind of more than I want to do right now.
Yeah. I want to get in the habit of doing it, but I also don't want to get in the habit of doing it right now just because I don't know, like I said, I don't know what it's going to look like. And if all my stuff's just going to go into voting with gibberish descriptions. Like I've gotten into the habit now of at least typing words that make sense, like playground or just generic. At least it's not gibberish. Church, right? Like stuff that someone's going to look at it and go, that sucks, but I'm not going to reject it because it's right? Like,
right. It doesn't look like AI wrote it.
Right. I at least do that. But yeah, I don't know. I just, hopefully it does happen this year. This isn't one of them Niantic soon things.
Yep.
Using the air quotes for our audio listeners, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and jump right into topic number 1.
Get ready for topic number 1.
All right. So topic number 1, I am calling this today, Chris, the psychology of reviewing. And I've kind of had this in the parking lot for a while, and I wanted to talk about it, but I couldn't quite pair it up with something, and I didn't really know where it was going to go. So what you guys don't see, even though you have video, is our show notes. So I sent Chris kind of what I want to talk about. And essentially, I've got a bunch of bullet points because I was having trouble kind of putting it into a storyboard form. But I got the bullet points here of what I want to talk about. And I'm anxious to kind of get your opinion on some of these, and I'll give my opinion. So I'll just kind of get started. So like the first one is, why do reviewers see the same nomination differently? And not just differently, Chris, but vastly differently. You can just go onto the forums, and someone will post something looking for help on their nomination, and you'll get 2 people that will say the diametrically opposite thing, and you're kind of like, how did person A and person B come to this conclusion with this nomination? And I think it comes down to personal bias. And that was my second thing, is how does personal bias affect reviewing? But I want to get your take on this, on why do you think reviewers see the same nomination so vastly differently?
You ever see those like 9 square, like lawful good, chaotic neutral things? I think that is a really good way to describe what happens with some nominations, because you have certain people who view Wayfarer through a super critical lens, and they're just like, I have read every syllable, every letter of the Wayfarer criteria, and this is my Bible, and nothing else matters, and Niantic's word is law, and I'm going to review everything exactly how Niantic says that I should review it. And then you have a lot of people who are just like, yeah, that bench looks like it's on a trail. I can make an argument that that's a good place to exercise because it's on a trail and you're tired and you're going to sit down and now you're going to talk to your person. I'm going to reprove that. And you've got people who are in the middle who are approve some of those things and not some of those things. And I think it's just, you've got so many different personalities in Wayfarer, and that's kind of what happens when you crowdsource basically anything. Like, we're crowdsourcing a map, and you're going to have, no one's ever going to agree on everything, and you're never going to have a nomination that everyone likes. Even if, you and me and every Wayfarer expert on the planet looks at something and goes, that's a slam dunk, you're going to have someone go, no, it's not. I'm not approving that. There's a crack in that basketball.
The Russian
net.
judge.
It's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Everyone else is giving the guy a 10, and he's like 7.4. You looked at me funny during your second flip. Like, what? Come on now. Like, I've had people in my area be like, no, that's not eligible because there's no net in that basketball net. It's just the hoop. Like, you wait, what? You're going to reject that because the ball doesn't go swish when it goes through the net? Like, come on now.
Now, I think it comes down to, so remember right when you started this, right when you joined the podcast, way back when, it's funny, I was looking at something today and I was like, man, Chris and I have been at this for a hot minute, which is good. Yeah. But when you first started, I remember I told you I had two philosophies on people who did Wayfarer: the people who review to accept, and the people who review to deny, right? So I think you're right. I think the mindset comes down to, do you log on to Wayfarer to say, I'm going to scrutinize everything with such a fine-tooth comb that nothing gets through? Or are you a person who, I hate saying need more stops, because I don't think that person is need more stops, but the person that says, hey, people are nominating these things to have something to play with. I'm looking to add to the play area. Not, I'm going to follow the criteria, but I'm going to go with the play area. So my next question for you, Chris, is how does local culture of you affect reviewing? And I'll give you just kind of a for example before, and kind of tee you up. There's people on the forums that say, I would not give this a thumbs up. However, I looked at the nearby and there's nothing, and they're in a super rural area, so I'm going to give it a thumbs up. But if this was in my city, I would give it a thumbs down. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that happens a lot. Like, if something's borderline, certain people will look at it and go, okay, well, they don't really have anything, I'm just going to let this one slide, right? And you've got a certain subset of people that will do that. In my area, if I've noticed this, I've nominated the same thing in an empty cell versus a cell that's already got something in it. It is much easier to get something approved in an empty cell than it is a full cell. So that tells me that a large portion of the Wayfarer reviewers in my area care more about the Pokemon Go map than they do the Wayfarer map. So they they look at it and go, that's in an empty cell, I'm gonna let that slide. Perfect example. I've struggled to get restaurants approved in my area. Struggled. I just had one nominated first try across the street because it's in an empty cell.
Because we have more Pogo leaning people now than we did Ingress people, who were probably a little more map purists. Fair?
100%.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are looking at the map. Excuse me. I think a lot of people are looking at the map and using the map and its proximity to other things to make decisions on whether or not something's eligible. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is, right? And that's kind of how I think local culture kind of creeps into this, is if you have a more Pogo-centric area, certain things might be easier to get in, just strictly based on where they are, right? And
now, my example, I'm going to bring up my example, Charlotte, North Carolina. People have joked that Charlotte is kind of a need more stops kind of city, but Charlotte is very much hey, we are all here to have fun. Like even when I go out to my local area and like Matty G show historian has been to my park, everything in my park is 100% legit. I've showed it to Niantic Aaron. Like you can come through with a fine tooth comb in my park. It is all legit. But there's things in the city that you would come to Charlotte and go, "Ooh, how'd that get through?" You know, um, but that's just the tenor of the city. The people that nominate things and the reviewers here in Charlotte are like, "Yeah, we're here to have a good time." There's like three map purists that I know. Everybody else is like, we're just here to have a good time. You know, this is a dog park. You know, all things that are legit, but you know, things that people on the forum say, oh, I would reject it because you can see a person and you got to like get a magnifying glass out and take it to like 10,000. Like, oh, there is a person, but I would have never noticed it unless I blew the screen up to see it. But there's some people that are like, nope, there's a person in that picture. And here they're kind of like, hey, you know what? It's not hurting anything. And plus, when you look at it in the circle, you won't be able to see the person. So local and this is kind of self-serving, but I've always said, even last week, we argued about it a little bit, that I think local rules should dictate. And you were like, sometimes the local people get it wrong. Yeah. And I'd said, hey, you know what? You're right. But I think in the psychology of reviewing, the map in your city is very much going to take on whoever is dominant in the culture of that city. If you are big in your city and you're a map purist, then your map is going to be a little more pure than a city where people are like, it's close enough.
Yep. No, 100%. 100%. I was actually just thinking that it's your local map will kind of skew towards the people who play in it, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a bunch of people who are purists and want the map to be clean and crisp and not kind of cluttered, it's going to be tough for you to get stuff through, right? Whereas if you have a bunch of people who just want spinners, it'll be easier to get stuff through. Right. I think for the most part, stuff that's like crazy ineligible won't get through.
Right.
Unless you've got a bunch of people who are just like, no, I want stops and I want gyms and I don't care where they are. And there's a large portion of people in Oshawa who absolutely feel that way. And I 100% believe that plaque across the street at that school is going to get through. I actually fully expected those two high schools to get through as well. Right. It's disappointing, yeah, but it's just kind of the way that my local player base is. And when stuff disappears, they get mad. Like, I've been removed from a group in my local area because they know I'm the one taking stuff away. Oh yeah, no, 100%.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're like, don't tell Chris. They're like, here he comes. Here comes the narc. But overall, North Carolina is like that. Like Cindy Pooh. I won't dox her. But she posted something that, you know, you brought up in topic number 2 last week, that memorial bench they got through. And in the Discord, you know, people are like, why are you like arguing? Like, and she's just like, no, I appreciate it being there. It just shouldn't have been approved because it doesn't meet Niantic's criteria. And I think sometimes communities override criteria because that's the way they want it. So that really plays into when we have a global challenge. And some people in my local area hate global challenges because they're like, all of my stuff gets denied. I don't know why everybody loves global challenges. All of my stuff gets denied. And it's because people from other areas who are seeing that are like, here it is, Chris. It just came to me. You're reviewing and you say, that wouldn't pass in my area, so I'm going to thumbs it down. That would pass in my area, so I'm going to thumbs it up. We talked and you taught me this, so I got to give you credit. You reached out to people in Spain and France and Germany and you said, tell me what I'm going to see before I start reviewing. I have to give you so much credit for it because you helped me look at it through the lens of the people in that area, or else I would have approved and denied a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have, because I'm thinking this is the Charlotte thing. This is not the French thing. So I got to give you credit there. But I think it takes the place, it takes the mindset of whatever's going on locally.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. It's a lot of people, especially for the global challenges, will let their local mindset dictate what they approve in other areas. And like, even in the US and even in Canada, you go from state to state or province to province, culturally things are different. Like, things are way different in the South than they are in Minnesota or like North Dakota. For sure. Right? Like, there's things in North Dakota that you would never see in the South. And you will never see boiled peanuts in, Fargo, North Dakota. And it gets even worse when you go out of the US or out of North America to like Spain or Europe. And
absolutely,
even me, I get reviews from Quebec sometimes, and I look at things and I go, I don't know what that is. I don't think that should be a thing. And then I look around the map and they're everywhere. And I'm like,
they're everywhere.
I was on the border. Like, I can't necessarily, I don't know. I can see the argument and it gets approved. So culturally, locally, that's kind of a thing. And a lot of the times I'll just skip those because I don't necessarily want to be the kind of guy that's like, oh, it's on the map, it must be eligible, right? Like, I preach that that's not a thing. So like, I skip a lot of those. But I think that kind of the way that things flow in your area, and especially if you're a new Wayfarer, if you nominate a bunch of stuff and some stuff gets rejected and some stuff gets approved, you start to kind of get into that rhythm, get into that, okay, I'm starting to get a feel for what this is. And then all of a sudden, now you get reviews from another area and it's completely different.
Exactly.
Right? And that's why I'm glad that the reviews are the way that they are. It's more locally based than whatever. But sometimes, like I said, sometimes local people get it wrong. But that's just, if that's the way that your local area runs, then who are we to say that you're wrong,
Chris, that's great. I've got a couple of examples as to what exactly we're talking about. So there's really three that I think are super divisive in the community. The first one is the memorial bench debate. The second one is the neighborhood sign debate. And then the third one is kind of that eternal gazebo debate, which I think we've settled the gazebos. They're not quite as divisive as they used to be. I remember if it was like a pavilion type, it wasn't good enough. But I think we've all kind of said, all right, you know what? Gazebos are fine. So I think it boils down to two. The memorial bench, which has a Niantic/Scopely criteria, and the neighborhood sign, which does not have a Niantic/Scopely criteria. And I think those are the two that pop up on the forum along with the Queen Elizabeth post boxes. But I honestly don't know enough about that to even talk about. So maybe we'll have Pokemon Trainer Jay on to kind of explain that. I think it's like, if it's older than a certain date, then it's okay. And if it's not, then it's not okay. But if I'm reviewing London from Charlotte, I don't know what date it was. So I don't know. But that's another example of something that goes on in Europe that kind of is like the neighborhood sign debate here in the States. Maybe not so much in Canada. I don't know if that's a big deal in Canada, but it's a big deal in the newer kind of suburban subdivisions here, along with the benches. So that's what I offer up as an example, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, the memorial bench is a big one, and that's been clarified by Niantic to death. I think that one's kind of, that case should be shut, right? Like, that's, it's black and white. It's not. I still get memorial benches for Frank and Bob and Katie's grandma, and it's just like, it's like, you're not distinct. But
then you come across that one. Yeah. But then you come across that one for the professor of the university who invented physics, and he is distinct, And then everybody goes, oh, and it's all good. But it's another one of those things where distinct is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. It's, a lot of it is like, it's just, dedicated to Billy. Love you. Love your family. Like, that's pretty cut and dry, right? And then you've got ones that are just like, they're really well worded, and then it's this kind of like hit and miss with whether or not they were distinct in their local community and kind of maybe, give those a pass. And I've had other people be like, well, it's a bench. You can sit 3 people on this bench. That's a good place to socialize. Like, cool, but like Niantic says that's not enough. The neighborhood signs is an interesting one to me.
Yes.
And like, I can't get behind a lot of them for, it's just, someone was like, oh, it's just an advertisement for the neighborhood. I'm like, yeah. And like, I get the arguments for some of them, and they fly through in this area, like fly through so easy. I've just seen them all of a sudden. A couple went through, and then now everyone's like, "Oh, they must be eligible." Boom, 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 and people are rifling them off. And like, there's, I think, one person's got like 20 of them in my area. It's the same name on the picture, right? Like, there are areas that I've driven through that there's 0, like none. And I've seen some pretty decorative ones that I'd be like, I could make an argument that that's artistic, right?
Mm-hmm. I showed you the one by my house that's got a waterfall on it, and So my experience is, I have nominated. There's a street that goes like from like downtown Charlotte all the way to like the lake. It's like a 7-mile street. It's like one of the main streets in Charlotte. I have nominated the neighborhood signs for like a good 3.5 miles of this. So when you're stuck in traffic, your Go Plus Plus will pick them. I mean, you look at it, it looks awesome as you look at it on the map. And like, when we go to the park, everybody's like, "Oh, can you come down my street and do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I'll try." There's a road that's off of that. I'm like, I'll try. I put these through during a time where they were very friendly and everybody was approving them. And now they're not. And I tell people, because I'm pro neighborhood sign and you're not pro neighborhood sign, and I love that. But I tell people, do not, under any circumstances, upgrade this. I'm like, it's just a death sentence, because it's going to go out to this wide area and you are going to get your hand slapped. Your best bet is to hope that only Charlotte people in this area see this nomination and vote for it, because other than that, it's dead in the water. I think the honeymoon phase is over, Chris, for the neighborhood signs. I've tried to get 1 through 3 times, and I'm going to like park it for a month or 2 because I don't want to get flagged. I mean, I put it through 3 times back to back to back, hoping to get different reviewers, and it just got slapped down every time. So I'm just going to pump the brakes on it. But I think the honeymoon phase is over for the neighborhood signs. I think it will make a resurgence, and I have some waiting for when that resurgence comes. So it's just a matter of the next time something happens and somebody's brave enough to kind of put their foot back in the water. But I mean, some of them are not artistic and some of them are. And I know exactly where you're coming from. I get it 100%. But it is such a good way to have something at the beginning or the end of someone's neighborhood where they can have something to do, something to play. And you know me, I'm the guy, I want everything inclusive. I'm the inclusive guy. I've got one at the beginning of my neighborhood, and we don't have one at the backside of the neighborhood, but at the beginning of the neighborhood, it's there, and it's awesome. It's the first thing I do when I hit, and I put it in during the Ingress time, so it's a portal also. So, I will never miss a 7-day streak, because I can see it. It's like right there. And I just have to walk out of my back door, maybe 100 meters, and boom, I can spin it. So, but I get it. I get why you don't like them, and I get why a lot of people don't like it. I 100% understand why people don't like them. I still nominate them, but I get where you're coming from. So I think Niantic / Scopely would be wise to come down with some type of criteria on them. Now, here's the good thing I know. It'll never get removed. It'll stay in.
Yes.
It's not going to meet removal criteria. So it's kind of like, get it in while you can. I'm kind of like pools. Remember the thing with pools? It was just kind of like, get every pool in you can before they decide to change their mind. But I get why people don't like them. I 100% understand it, but I still think, to me, they're viable.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that it would do Wayfarer as a whole, a lot of good for the Wayfarer team to come out and say, here's our official stance. Black and white. And there's going to be some gray area in there too, right? But like, just say, hey, if it's not on someone's property, because a lot of them are, right? And I've had people try and make the argument and be like, oh, well, they put the sign on there. It's not technically their property, and their property line is actually right here. And it's just, I'm like, no. If there's no fence between their front yard and where the sign is, that sign's in their yard. I'm sorry. That's
yeah.
A lot of people feel
I
that
can
right?
get behind that. PRP.
Yep.
Like I said, PRP and K through 12 and fire stations have been my thing, but there's a lot of them that are in a common area, and I don't see a problem with those. So
there's some artistic ones, and I actually saw a group of people. I was driving to work the other day. There was 7 or 8 people on bikes, and they were meeting at their neighborhood sign to go for their bike ride. I'm like, it happens. I get it. They'll like it. It happens. But yeah, it would behoove Scopely or the Wayfarer team or Niantic or whatever we're calling them now to just say, hey, listen, these are eligible for this, this, and this. If they meet this, this, and this, and they don't meet this, this, and this, do with that information what you will. And I think the Wayfarer team, the Wayfarer community would kind of go, I can live with that.
Right.
And we wouldn't have a lot of these arguments on the forums. And we wouldn't have a lot of people getting upset when they see them.
And I would hope people would follow whatever guidance there is, because I don't like Scopely's stance on disc golf, but I follow it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I dislike it with every fiber of my being. But when I see them, I deny them, and I screenshot it every time and post it in the Discord. Say, look, I'm following the rules. I don't like to follow the rules, but I'm following the rules.
Yeah.
So I would just hope people would do that. All right, let's do this. Let's jump into topic number 2.
This is Sarah Amanda. Don't forget about topic number 2.
Okay, so topic number 2 is something I want to call the dark side of S2 cells. So we went 4 years without talking about S2 cells, and we kind of decided to rip the Band-Aid off either last week or the week before, or the week before that. I don't remember exactly when it was. I'm sure someone out there is telling me exactly when we did it. Also, Chris, there's 2 people right now that are laughing because we promised we weren't going to talk about neighborhood signs 4 shows ago, and we're talking about neighborhood signs. Remember, they were like, you guys are going to remember. I said, that's it. In the Discord, I said, that's it. We're not talking about neighborhood signs anymore. And they were like, yeah, right. I won't out them, but we're going to get a message on Sunday. Oh, you guys are talking about neighborhood signs again.
100%. I completely forgot about that.
So here we are. Yep, I did too.
It is what it is.
And I wrote the damn notes.
Yes, sure you did.
All right. All right. So the dark side of S2 cells. So the whole reason why Niantic doesn't publicly talk about S2 cells, we all know what it is. You give somebody an inch and they'll take a mile. You tell somebody what the inclusion rules are, and they're going to cheat. That's just the nature of human beings. We are going to push the envelope for our favor. Whether we say we're altruistic or not, we're going to make sure that something is just on the other side of that line. Whether it needs to be or not, we're going to make sure that we do it. And that's the dark side of S2 cells. And that's why nobody really kind of touches it. You know, Chris and I have referred to, there's certain things that are the third rail, and this is one of them, but we're kind of embracing the third rail. But part of it is how spacing rules frustrate nominators, right? So a big part of it is let's just say I only play Pokemon Go. We see this on the forums. I nominated this in Pokemon Go because I wanted to play with it in Pokemon Go. I don't care about Niantic's other games. I don't even know what Niantic/Scopely's other games are. I want to play with this in Pokemon Go. So people get frustrated with the spacing rules. And let's start with the fact that most explorers don't know or understand the rules. They don't know it, and they come to the forums saying, why isn't this showing up? And then they get the explanation, and it's like, I don't care. It said nominate a Pokestop on the app, and I did. And now you're telling me it's going into another game which I've never played and I don't have downloaded. So you're going to have people who are going to push. They're going to push the limits once they understand it to try to get things on there. So the question is, do S2 sales push us to explore more areas, or do they discourage us from nominating in high density areas? What do you think?
So first of all, just to kind of get back to the forum real quick, I hate it when people post in the forum and be like, I nominated this and it got approved, and then I went to look and it wasn't there, and I checked my nearby on Pokemon Go and it says that it's used in other games. I didn't want it to go into that game. I wanted it to go in Pokemon Go. Why did this game steal my nomination? Be like, that's not how it works. It frustrates me to no end when people are like, Monster Hunter now stole my Wayspot. Be like,
go ahead and say it. Sweet Summer Child.
Sweet Summer Child. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just frustrates me because it comes from, and I hate to use the word ignorance, but it comes from a place of ignorance, right? And it's well-meaning ignorance. It's not purposeful ignorance. It's not willful ignorance. It's just they don't know. And it's just, there's at least every other day, there's a post on the forum going, where's my Pokestop? Where's my Pokestop? Where's my Pokestop? And it's just like, I can't, there's one quick and easy way to get around this, and they won't do it. That's my rant on that. Second, I think, to get to your question, I absolutely 100% believe that S2 cells and that the way that they're used in Pogo discourage people from nominating stuff in high density areas. And I think that it's doing the Wayfarer map a disservice, right? Because I live in the full S2 cell areas. Like, I'd say 90%, 80% of my nominations, maybe 70% of my nominations are stuff that's in a full cell because nobody in my area is going to nominate it. So that's kind of where I live. I went to my daughter does choir. They're at a new church this year. I got 7 nominations at that church. 7 legitimate nominations in that area just because it's stuff that's in a full cell.
Right.
Like, that's, I don't know what else to say. Like, that's just, you're literally having people who have filled out that map. Like, there's not 6 cells that I could see from that church that didn't have something in them, right? It's just halos for miles because I haven't been to that area before of town, right? It's in the next town over. It's like Pokestops, gyms, and you could walk 8 blocks in any direction and have a full ag. There's so many spinners. But I found 7 in 2 cells, 3 cells, just because people are just like, well, it's not going to show up in Pogo. Why would I bother?
So they're like me.
Yep.
They're like me.
And I've said it before. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Everybody in my area can keep doing that way. I will get all of those nominations. That's fine. I'm good with that. I'm good doing that work. But you're doing the map a disservice, especially now that we have power spots, but you're doing the map a disservice with your S2, and I don't know what the answer definitely isn't don't use S2 cells, right? The answer is definitely not just have everything on the map.
Right.
I don't know what the answer is, right?
I don't know that I'm sure there is an answer. I think a big part of it would be change the verbiage in the Pokemon Go app, please. Yep. That would stem the tide of a lot. It's another one of those things, like I've said before. The Pokemon Go, hold on. I got to be careful how I say this. The Pokemon Go team is feeding the horse hay in the parade. They're just feeding this horse hay. The Wayfarer team is following behind, right? Everybody in the parade is going, oh, that horse is so great. And they're just feeding this horse. And nobody who's on the parade route or who's taking care of this horse is thinking anything about what's going on the back end. Right? You follow me? Niantic Wayfarer is following this horse with a broom and a shovel,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just cleaning up the mess. And the Pokemon Go team is just feeding this horse exotic things. Hay, apples, bananas, oranges, peaches, tomatoes. You see where I'm going here.
I do.
Right?
I do. Yep.
And Tintino and the rest of the team is walking behind.
Yep.
So, okay, that was funny. But no, my point is, if the Pokemon Go team would change some of the verbiage in how the nomination screen would solve a lot of these problems. If it said something on there like, you are nominating this item to be a point of interest on Niantic's Scopely's map. If it meets our internal criteria, it could appear on the map as a Pokestop or a gym. Or it could be used in one of Niantic's other games. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Clean it up, but make it known that just because you nominate this and it's eligible and it gets accepted, it's not necessarily going to end up on the map. And I think the Pokemon Go team could throw the Niantic team a bone by just changing that. And I think you would cut down on some of that forum spam by 30-40%.
Yeah, 100%. I think, and the reason, I think we've asked this question before, and the answer was, oh, well, they don't want to break the immersion of the game, which I think is a bit of a horse manure answer, to kind of get back to what you were just talking about.
Yep.
But okay, cool, fine. You don't want to break the immersion of the game in the settings. Like, come on. There's stuff in it, like volume. You're really going to change the volume in real life? No, you're not. Like, just... But whatever.
Right.
I mean, let's get past that. I think even if they change the verbiage to something along the lines of nominate a potential Pokestop or potential power spot, this nomination may appear as one of the two. Right.
I like that.
And then
I really do like that.
Even if people are like, well, may appear, if they're paying attention enough, might take that as, okay, maybe I gotta Google, why does it say may appear? And then I guarantee the S2 article from GoHub will pop up, or a link to the forums will pop up, and
the article that just won't die.
Yeah, the article that just won't die. And then maybe they'll be prompted to kind of do some research by accident, just by changing, like you're right, just by changing the verbiage in the game to something along the lines of, yes, you're nominating a Pokestop, but it might not be a Pokestop. It might be a power spot. It might not even be a power spot. It might be a nothing. You might get a nothing burger. But just something to prompt the question in their brain to go, well, why is it worded like that? I'm going to look into it. And then you're going to have people who are just like, whatever, click, picture, submit, wait.
Yep.
And you post on the forums. That's going to happen. But like, I honestly think you're right. I think if they were to change the verbiage in Pogo, it would cut down on a lot of this.
Now, the second part of the dark side of S2 sales is something that my wife has said over and over, because, she sits over there most of the time. She hears us recording the podcast, and she hears me talking about it later, or she'll watch part of it, or, read something in the Discord. And she kind of alluded to it as kind of like, do you remember that show Bait Bike?
No.
Where those guys would put a bike in a park, and they would tie a rope around the tire, like an invisible, like a fishing line rope. And then somebody would see the bike, and they would get on it, and they would ride it, and then they would pull the string, and the person would fall off, and then they would go over and arrest them.
Yeah.
You know the concept, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know
concept,
if you've seen it, but so the bait bike is what they call it. And then they also have a show that was called the bait car, where they would leave a car running, and then someone would jump in the car and steal it, and they hit a button and it would stop, and they would go and arrest them. So she alluded that the S2 sales, once people know about it, is kind of like the bait bike. That Niantic Scopely is baiting people into moving things across a cell line to get it into Pokemon Go and then banning them. Now, I'm like, okay, fair. I'm just happy she's kind of interested in this, but I can kind of see her point.
Yeah.
That like, maybe that's why they don't want people to know about it, because they don't want people to do it and then get banned. Now, when I was putting this together, when we were in the hospital and I was kind of talking to her about what I was going to say on the show, and I was telling her that, I've seen an uptick in people on the forum saying, oh, rats, this is not going to appear in the game I wanted it to. Wait, can I move it over to the next cell so it'll appear?
Yeah.
And then like people are like jumping out of windows. No, don't do it. Oh my God, you're going to get banned. And then people are like, here are the 3 emails I got when I did that. But like, people don't know. They're like, oh, shoot, it's not going to appear. Oh, well, I'll just renominate it over here. It's not really there. And then, you get Niantic Aaron going, hey, this is like 50 meters away from where it's supposed to be. This is 100 meters away from where it's supposed to be. And someone was like, oh, I want it to appear in the game. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, we're both dads. We know bad things are going to happen. So we tell our children, hey, don't steal. If it doesn't belong to you, don't do it. It's like we don't shield them away from the bad things.
Mm-hmm.
We tell them this is a bad thing. Don't do it. And here's why. Right? I can't think of a good example right now, but just something like you tell your kid, hey, this is something that people do, like drugs, for example. Okay, people are going to drink and they're going to drive. It's bad. Don't do it. Here's why. You don't say, oh no, someone's going to drink a beer, cover their eyes and their ears. No, we're going to explain to you why this is bad and why you don't do it. I think Niantic could go a long way with keeping S2 sales from being this taboo and fear-mongering thing and people are afraid to get their account banned, is saying, hey, this is like running a red light. The red light is here for a reason. Don't do it. If you do it, this is what's going to happen. So don't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I have said this to people on the forums. I've said this to people in our private chats. I've said this to people in person. I hate the people that are going to abuse it excuse. Hate it. It is one of my biggest pet peeves because at the end of the day, if I'm participating in some sort of event or system or game or whatever, I should know all of the rules. Mm-hmm. Even if there's a potential for me to break those rules by finding loopholes in those rules, I should know all of the rules. And I don't want to not give people an advantage in the game just because some people might abuse it, because the number of people who abuse it is going to be far, 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 far less than the number of people who go and look and go, thank you for that information. I'm going to abide by the rules, but still use that information to my advantage. Right? It's like that idea I had of reviewing stuff on your phone in person. People were just like, no, people will abuse that. But the people who are going to abuse that are already abusing the system. Right? Yes. It's just, yes, you're going to give them another way to abuse the system, but you got to trust the community to report this stuff. And I don't think that the amount of abuse outweighs the benefit that the community would get from this being common knowledge.
Yes. You could almost have a more stringent ladder and a zero tolerance policy if you 100%. Told people, hey, here's that line you don't cross. You cross this line, you are banned. You move something over a line to get it in the game, you are banned. Don't do it here. It's like Cindy Pooh and all these people who want a black and white rule for everything. I think this is one area of this is how you cheat. If you do this cheat, you are banned. Don't come and appeal it. Don't come and talk to us about it. Don't come with your crocodile tears. We're telling you now. Maybe when you sign in, you have to click a button once that says, I have read this and I know this is cheating. And if I cheat, I'm banned. And I would be all for that. And I'm the guy that likes things in the gray. I would be all for that because then we could have discussions and we can talk about ideas without having to tiptoe around inclusion rules. If you break an inclusion rule, you're done.
Done.
You are done.
Yep. Just get like one of them videos of Captain America sitting and be like, you need to understand What I'm about to tell you is the law. You break one of the following rules, anything that we're going to talk about in the next 5 minutes, you are done. You will receive a 10-year, unappealable, non-turnoverable ban. Goodbye.
Right.
Pogo,
Goodbye.
Wayfarer now, Pikmin Bloom, every other game that we ever come up with, Transformers Go, Monopoly Go, anything Scopely's ever made, it's just, you won't be able to play the mainline games of Pokemon. We're going to take your Switch away, and it's just...
Someone's going to come and get your cards.
Someone's going to knock on your door. You're going to answer them. They're going to throw a book at your face. Like, it's just,
right.
We're going to take away your Pokemon cards. It's like, you just set that line. You set that expectation. It says, you're done. Like, this is right. Not negotiable. You violate what we're about to tell you. We are going to throw a very large, very heavy, lots of worded book at your face multiple times for the next 10 years.
Right. Yep.
Done. Right? I just
love it.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. We had a listener email from Limerico, Fox Peterson, but we're running long. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read this. Can we read this email next week, Chris?
Yes. Yep.
It's a Chris show, but I think this is a really good email. I'm looking at it now. It's talking about some two-story murals, which is very much in the wheelhouse of the Wayspotters podcast. So Fox Peterson, we're going to read your email next week because we don't want to just skim over it. We want to give it the love that it deserves because it's a good email. So let's go into, let's see, what are we going to do here? Let's go to One's Gotta Go.
One's gotta go. One gotta go. One gotta go, y'all. One gotta go. Wait, one gotta go. Yeah, this one gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. One's gotta go. One gotta go. 4 items to be on the list, but one gotta go.
So One's Gotta Go. You guys know how this works. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Can you pull that up, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Pull up One's Gotta Go. This is a fun one. So I had some fun with this one. The ladies at my work helped me come up with this one. So the theme of this one is 90s one-hit wonders. Now, the 90s were just a decade of one-hit wonders. There was probably, I think there was 36 that I came up with, one-hit wonders, but I picked 4. So your favorite one-hit wonder may not be on this list, but here's what we have. In the upper left-hand corner, we have the Macarena by Los Del Rios, you know. Macarena. Macarena. Hey, Macarena. I can do the whole thing. Okay, sorry. So for this is, you guys need to go to Spotify and watch it because I just did the Macarena and Chris is like cracking up right now. All right. So upper right-hand corner is the Macarena. Upper left-hand corner is the Macarena. Upper right-hand corner is Right Said Fred. I'm too sexy for my hat. Too sexy for my hat. What do you think about that? I'm a model, you know what I mean? And then I do my little turn on the catwalk. Yeah, oh no, sorry. Okay. Lower left-hand corner, Chris, is the Baja Man. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Okay, sorry. All right, I won't sing the last one. And the bottom right-hand corner is Rico Suave by Geraldo. Rico Suave. Can you tell I love 90s one-hit wonders? All right, so that's what you got. You got Macarena, I'm Too Sexy, Who Let the Dogs Out, and Rico Suave. So, Chris, what do you say? Which one's got to go?
This turned into Wayspotters karaoke. This is one of those rare ones where I'm just like, let's just say all's gotta go and call it a day. But I will play along.
What? Hold on. Time out. All of them? I thought you were going to say all of them had to stay. You want to get rid of all of them?
Not a huge fan.
This took a heel turn.
Rico Suave, I think, is bottom of the list for me. So that would be the one that's got to go. Who Let the Dogs Out? I enjoyed that song in its day, I think it's created some great memes. I'm Too Sexy may or may not have been the theme song for my life for a little bit, according to one of the girlfriends that I've had in my life. She was convinced that my ego was far too large, and every time they heard that song, they thought of me. So I was just like, okay, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And the Macarena's a fun little dance. Macarena, it gets on my nerves so quickly, but like it's good the first time.
If you're at a wedding and the Macarena comes on, are you running to the dance floor to do it?
Running? No. Walking? Sure. Once. I'll do it once, and then I'm over.
I'm
Rico
running
Suave,
to the dance floor.
I don't doubt that. I do not doubt that.
I totally thought this was going a different direction.
No, Rico Suave is the one.
I totally thought this was going a different. I thought you were going to say you can't figure out which one to get rid of, and you're like, they can all go.
Oh God, no!
Wow.
No,
okay.
I would.
You ever read something totally wrong? You ever read a situation totally wrong? Yep. I walked into this thinking that you were going to be like, oh, I can't figure out which one to get rid of, and you're like, no, they can all go.
I knew that was going to happen as soon as you posted that in that channel. I looked at this and go, oh, he's not going to see this coming. This is great. I love it.
Didn't see that coming. So for me, I'm going to say the Baja Men, and this is why. Rico Suave, the song was okay, but remember Weird Al parodied it, Taco Grande, which anything Weird Al touches, remember the Taco Grande song?
Forgot about that.
Grande. So if Weird Al touches it, it kind of gets a blessing. It kind of gets a pass, right? So Weird Al parodied that into Taco Grande. The Macarena, for reasons I just talked about, anytime I hear that song, you can ask my wife, regardless of the situation or where we are, if that song comes on, I will do the dance. Doesn't matter where it is. Like, does not matter. Pick a situation, church, funeral, wedding, wherever we are, grocery store, that song comes on, I'm busting out the Macarena. So, that's got to stay. And I'm Too Sexy. For the longest time, I did not know that was two people singing that song. Right Said Fred is a band. It's not one guy, and they're brothers. I remember watching the video years ago. God, this is 30 years ago now. And seeing a bunch of British guys in like mesh t-shirts. And I just thought it was like one dude and his backup dancer. And that I didn't know they were brothers. But that also has spawned tons of memes and tons of parodies. So for me, it's the Baja Men. And when that song came out, I had 2 dogs at the time, and they were always getting out, and everybody in the house would say, who let the dog? And it would just kind of like stop, because I would have to go and chase these dogs down to bring them back home. So that's why the Baja Men has got to go for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about the Weird Al parody. But yeah, you're right. I can't listen to American Pie at all.
Oh, yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Because of the
I can't listen to anything. Coolio. Yeah. I can't listen to that either.
Yep.
Or White and Dirty. I can't listen to that either.
White and Nerdy. Yes. It's one of my favorites.
White and Nerdy. One of his biggest hits in his later years. Once Weird Al touches something, it's almost like it's canonized. It's Weird Al when yeah, go ahead.
Little known fact about Weird Al, that song Albuquerque, he threw it in to the album purposefully to annoy his fans. Because I can't remember exactly why, but he threw it in as a joke, and he's like, people aren't going to get this far into the album. I'm just going to throw this song at the end. No one's ever going to listen to it. And now it's one of his more popular songs.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do a whole show on Weird Al. You know, the funny thing about Weird Al, what's actually the most interesting thing is the list. He released a list 10 years ago, maybe, of all of the people that turned him down.
Yeah.
Do you remember seeing that? The people that turned him down, and he was like, oh, these would have been bangers. Because he never expected Michael Jackson to say yes twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so he's talking about all the people that turned him down. I think Kiss turned him down. Aerosmith turned him down, and there was a few other people at the time that were really big and they turned him down. And you know, I'm like, man, I would have loved to heard that parody. So
yeah,
that is One's Gotta Go. So Chris, why don't we take a break and we'll play some dad jokes and we'll come back on the other side with Waste Spot of the Week and Cold of the Week.
Hey, this is Rolly Wambo alumni, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
This is Ashley the Artist from YouTube, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
Hello, this is Kermit the Frog, and you're listening to the Wayspotters podcast.
You're joking. It's season 4. Enough already.
Why don't skeletons ever fight each other? Because they don't have the guts. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because they were outstanding in their field. I asked my wife if I could name our dog GPS. She said, why? Why on earth would you call him that? I said, because he's always finding his way into the wrong spot. Why can't your nose be 12 inches long? Because then it would be a foot. I only know 25 letters of the alphabet. I don't know why. So I told my wife I was going to build this model lighthouse. She looked at me and she said, that sounds pointless. I said, exactly. It's all about the light. Why did the tomato blush? Because they saw the dressing. All right, everybody, welcome back. You can see us coming back. I hope you enjoyed the dad jokes this week. They were really funny. I actually posted the dad jokes in the show notes, so Chris got a chance to see them before I recorded them, so they were really good. I think the skeleton one might be my favorite, but Maddie G is going to hit me up and say, that's a repeat. It was in episode 127. And then he's going to say the one about the tomato, that's a repeat. It was in episode 96. So that's coming. So, haha, he can't say it because I said it. But let's roll right into Wayspot of the Week.
Here is a beautiful example of a Wayspot of the Week, which may or may not be a 2-story mural.
All right. And I'll take Wayspot of the Week number 1, and I'll save Wayspot of the Week number 2 for you. So we've got a couple of good ones this week. So the first one you're looking at here, and you guys are actually seeing it in Spotify. I love this, and on YouTube later. But this first one is called Dell the Flying Pig. Dell the Flying Pig also represents the importance of chasing seemingly impossible dreams, starting from a small business to home ownership. And this is from Eagle Rock, North Carolina, and this comes to us from Cindy Poo. What Dell is, it's a giant golden pig, probably about 3 meters tall. It's a pig, and it's standing up on its bottom hooves, and it's got its front hooves in the air, and it's got wings, so it looks like it could fly, and it's on a pedestal, and it's permanently in the ground, and it looks to be in the common area of a neighborhood. And it's like a golden pig that looks to fly. We don't have the supporting picture or information, but this is super cool, and it's in a residential area, and it's a good way to get something in a residential area, which is why I wanted to highlight it, because we were talking about neighborhood signs, something people don't think is good for a residential area. Dale the Flying Pig is symbolic, and it's just kind of a cool statue.
I think it's fantastic. I love it when cities put statues like this in parks, because it just adds an extra layer of character to the neighborhood, to the area. And you know, you don't often see pieces of art inside residential areas, so I think that's a great message too, right? It's just chase your dreams. That's why we have a podcast.
When pigs fly. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
You know, we're chasing the dream of being millionaire podcasters. I don't think
there
we'll
you
ever
go.
get there, but hey,
there you go.
We're chasing.
But hey, it's good to chase.
Yep.
We'll always be chasing.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Wayspot of the Week number 2.
This is Sarah Amanda, and here's some Wayspotters approved points of interest.
All right, Waste Spot of the Week, number 2, comes to us from Swoop in the Wayfarer discussion Discord, and that is not the right. That's what we want. This is Menace Reza Voodoo Mural. And it is, I thought this, I actually didn't look at this until just now. This is fantastic. This is a voodoo New Orleans style. Is this from New Orleans? It is from New Orleans. Nailed it.
Yes.
It's a crocodile with a top hat on. It's got the top hat. It's got a skull on it, and it's got the fleur-de-lis, the gold fleur-de-lis on the top of the on the thing, and there's some feathers on the hat too. The croc's eyes, it's like a deep red, and he's holding a skull in his hand, Shakespeare style, like from I think it's from Macbeth. You're muted. I think it's from Macbeth.
Yeah, it is. It is. I promised Kat in our, you were on the call on Monday. I promised her we'd use this on Monday. Or on the from the Discord call.
It's fantastic. And it's got like a necklace with a skull on it, and he's got the suit top and the red vest underneath the suit jacket and the collared shirt, and he's got a cane in his other hand.
It's quintessential New Orleans. It's quintessential New Orleans. Yep. It's like you always see those videos of those people walking down the street in full costume. Like I can see this in real life. Like this is a guy. Like this is somebody's Uncle Larry or something.
Yes. I briefly dated a girl from New Orleans, and she had a couple of family members who were like this, and it was fantastic. I loved it. So yeah, this is fantastic. Awesome. I don't know where this is. It looks like it's kind of on the side, right out in front of a discount store, maybe. But it's fantastic. This is
it's
New
so
Orleans
good.
encapsulated in one picture. It's great.
Yes, it is so good. All right, well, let's talk about something that is not so good. Let's go ahead and jump into Coal of the Week.
I've been working on the Wayfarer all the live long day. I've been working on the Wayfarer just to pass the... Oh no. Hey, Jamal, I found some coal.
So, Coal of the Week. It's a Jamal show, but I feel obligated to have you take this one for obvious reasons.
This is Coal of the Week comes to us from Spacebar in the Pokemon Professor Network Coal channel, and the title is Snorlax, and the description is, this is a Snorlax snoozing in a snoozable area, and it's just a picture of a stuffed Snorlax, and it might actually be the same stuffed Snorlax that I have behind me, that I would pull down, but I think if I were to try and pull it down, it might pull down all of my stuffed animals, because it's kind of wedged in behind there, and it's got maybe, you know what, I'm gonna put a TikTok maybe of all my stuff back there, because I've had a couple people ask. Anyway, back to the Coal. Yeah. It's a picture of a stuffed animal. I love me a Snorlax, but no, that's not how this works. Yeah, I could say it's a good stuffy. And I love the description.
He looks very happy. Yeah,
Snorlax dude likes to snooze in snoozable areas, but
and it's probably in somebody's house. It's probably in somebody's house.
Somebody's attempt to get a couch spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I wanted to feature this for two reasons. A, you are a living Snorlax. Everybody knows that. It's your favorite Pokemon.
Yep.
And two, Spacebar has been very active. They are fairly new patron, so they've been active and they've been sending us a lot of stuff. So I wanted to shout out one of theirs, and I think they picked it because they knew you like Snorlax. So I think there was a lot of symmetry and stuff here. So I felt this was a really good Coal of the Week. And the worst / best Coals of the Week are ones where you're kind of like, man, I really like this, but I have to say it's Coal of the Week.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. Yeah, Spacebar and I had a good conversation in the Coal channel about Emily needing to come back. It's being rough out there the last few days. So
Yeah. It's rough out there for a player.
Yep.
You got anything else?
Just one thing real quick, now that we're back on video. I realized just now that I've had this letter opener in my hand the entire episode, and I know people are going to ask me what it is. So this is just, it's a letter opener. It's a sword with a snake kind of wrapped around it that my wife got in one of her book boxes, and it was just sitting here on the desk, and I just kind of picked it up and I've been messing with it, and I know I've kind of waving my hand around, so people are going to ask what it is. So there you go. That's what that is. So we're going to know if anybody asks me what this is. We're going to know that they didn't watch the episode all the way through.
Exactly. All right, let's send Snorlax off to sleep. All right, Snorlax, you can go to bed. We love you. You can go. And I will go ahead and sign us off. All right. So, and I'm doing my new sign off now, Chris. So this is only the second time I'm doing my new sign off. So, and that's it. That is all we have for you for this episode of Wayspotters. Now, you know we can't end an episode without giving some love to the people who make this show possible. First up is our incredible executive producer, KatettheKonz. You rock. A huge shout out to you and all of our amazing patrons. We love you. And of course, we wanted to give a special shout out to our show historian, Maddie G, for keeping the record straight since day one. Now, if you liked what you heard, here's how you can stay connected with us. Number one, we're on social. We're on Twitter at Wayspotters. We are on Instagram at Wayspotters Podcast, and we are on TikTok at I Make Wayspots, and we are also on Blue Sky at Wayspotters Podcast. And if you look above us, there is a bar that has most of our socials on it. We love interacting with you, and don't be shy. Come say hi. Number two, check out our website, www.wayspotters.com. From there, you can download episodes, send us a message, or even shoot us an email at wayspotters@pokemonprofessor.com. Number three, we've got a hotline. That's right. You can call us 704-426-3710. Leave a voicemail, and you might hear yourself on a future episode. Or if you're feeling brave, you can tweet us a message directly from Twitter. Now, I can say this and mean it. Some of you may be watching this on YouTube, and for those of you who are not, you can visit our YouTube page, www.youtube.com/@WaysPottersPodcast. And Chris, while the good people are there, what should they do?
Click like if you like this, click subscribe if you really like this video, and then click the bell to be notified whenever we post a new video.
Number four, if you want to support the show, the best way to do that is by joining the Pokemon Professor Network Patreon. For as little as $1 a month US, you unlock access to our Discord, where you can hang out with fans and creators from all the shows across the Pokemon Professor Network, including Special Conditions, Gotta Watch 'Em All, Purified Podcast, Good Morning Johto, Sleep It Off, After Darkrai, and Lured Up. And of course, your favorite, the Wayspotters Podcast. It's a fantastic community, and we would love to have you there. And finally, the simplest way you can help us grow is to give us a rating on the app you're listening to right now. 5 stars really helps the show. And if your podcatcher lets you write a review, do that, and one of us will read it right here on the show. That is all we've got for this week. We want to thank you for being part of the Wayspotters family. We'll be back next week with more stories, more nominations, and more fun. And remember, what's a few meters between friends?